Um. So Dave Mitchell is in Germany of all places. I said, we're a button, it says it's not our fault. But anyway, so Eric is gonna report because he and Dave went to an event together.
Yeah, I don't think we have any minutes to, I had them the previous time, but
Yeah.
I didn't take any last time to review, so. The tree committee report will really just be me talking about the Arbor Day Foundation awards ceremony that Dave and I attended last week, a couple weeks ago. Downtown at the Sky Armory. And it was a lunch and it was just kind of an awards recognition. Since this past year, 2024, we were awarded Tree City USA status for the 13th year. I believe we missed a year in 2023 because one of the requirements kind of just fell through the cracks. But this is our 13th year. And so Dave and I attended the lunch and it was kind of, they had different municipalities there from around the state and some colleges, college campuses. So there's tree cities, there's tree campuses, and then there's actually like something for National Grid, like tree lines where they plant trees underneath utility right of ways and stuff. So there was actually quite a few schools there, in some like high school teachers and stuff. And everyone kind of went around the room and talked about what they were excited about in their community regarding trees or what kind of different programs they were doing. So that was interesting. And Dave, for us, talked about the tree giveaway, the seedling giveaway that we did at Maxwell Park last April, where we gave away about 5,000 seedlings in an afternoon. And so that was pretty impressive to everybody. And next year, hopefully we could get the growth award, which are a couple other requirements that you need to meet to do that, but that would be the goal for next year. That's about it.
Any questions?
I do have a question.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
are there any criteria or emphasis on native trees versus non-native trees, or is it just trees?
No, not just trees.
Well, you go.
There's a list that's been developed, native trees,
Or DeWitt, you mean, or in, yeah,
for the area.
okay.
Yeah, they're planted when possible. Street trees get difficult because of soil conditions. Lots of trees.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a high consideration whenever
Like
trees are.
when possible, kind of thing.
If it's possible to plant a native tree
Right.
and it's affordable, it's done,
Okay.
yes.
As far as the like tree city requirements.
Yeah,
So there are 4 requirements. One of them is to have a tree committee,
yeah,
which falls under DACC. It's its own subset. The other is to spend $2 per capita, which isn't that difficult for us. There's, I think it's like 26,000 residents. So twice that per year on trees and tree related expenses. So you can even like extrapolate quite a bit out as far as what tree related expenses. I think even like brush pickup could be considered if you're mulching that and putting that back out as mulch. The third is to celebrate Arbor Day, to have Arbor Day Foundation. Blanking on the 4th, so I'm gonna look it up right now. So I think that's what may have missed last year was the Arbor Day Foundation for the celebration. think we've met all the other things.
I'm not sure which one.
So standard one, a tree board, okay, tree care ordinance. So we have in our code
Yeah.
pieces that speak about tree care, like can't remove them from the right of way and maintenance responsibilities and stuff. So since we have that in the code, we have a tree board, we spend $2 per capita a year. And we have an Arbor Day celebration that kind of, we read like a proclamation, the supervisor says something, do a celebration.
So the standards in terms of natives really comes from here.
Yes,
Not from
not from Arbor Day,
top
yeah,
down.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the other recognition, like, because it's nationwide,
Yeah.
they like don't get into that minutia too much. That's usually like state or like, other entities. that
They
are,
want to
like-
be a big town.
Yeah.
Or a big tree. Like Go Dog Go or something.
And then there's, so that's kind of like your basic one, you do that, you get tree city status.
Yeah.
It kind of makes it a little easier to get some grant money and stuff. And then the level above that is like a growth award. Level set.
Thank you.
Good for tree committee report.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, all sorts of stuff on Earth Day. Basic facts are that our Earth Day cleanup will be Saturday, the 26th of April, starting at 9 o'clock. And we'll have two, as usual, two headquarters locations. One is at Robbie T's Pizza in Jamesville, and the other is the pavilion right here. And can you help, did Dave help with that one, as always?
Yeah.
And what do you think, Eric?
I think I can make it.
Sorry, make your poor girlfriend come out.
Yeah, I think I could try.
I mean, again, last year was, it had to be in the 30s.
Yeah, it's probably gonna.
Wind and rain, but
What's the day again?
the 26th. It's
Where's the second location, Robbie T's?
Robbie T's in Janesville, and right here, the pavilion.
Oh,
Oh, it's the same day as the Autism Awareness Walk. I think. This Saturday?
Yes.
It's the same day as the Autism. Walk. You can't, if April is Autism Awareness Month.
Well, I understand, but I wish they had picked Earth Day weekend, because
Yeah.
and that's always Earth Day too, so.
Yeah,
Well, you do what you need to do,
maybe with me, might be the way.
but, I've been in contact with several groups so far, that I've gotten confirmations on. One, as usual, thank God, are the, modified boys lacrosse teams who are gonna come out to Janesville and clean. There are years, and again, the weather will determine it, but we've had 30 or 40 or 50 7th and 8th grade boys, and thank God parents and coaches come to monitor them because they have tons of energy. And they get a lot clean. It's just, they're not high school kids, so you have to watch them like a hawk to make sure they stay out of the road and don't pick up anything dangerous or anything. Brightview, which is the company that took over for Proscapes, is, they contacted me, they want to help in Janesville. Last year, they did some stuff in the little pocket park, Avery Park, right at the corner. They did their mulching all wrong. They did the mulch
Volcano?
yeah, but
Nice.
at least they picked up the litter and stuff. But I actually threw in a little thing to them. I said, you know what? It's pretty littered on Route 173 directly across from you. Do you think you could send some people out to clean it? And they said, oh yeah, we can do that. So I'll bring you bags and stickers, and I'm sure they have their own vests.
So to get more stickers,
I have to call Oprah and tell them we need a lot. Yeah, as I say, after all these years, we're finally running low. And again, the Bell Home Group, which is a small realty firm, the owners live here in town. And they're gonna clean White Waters Parkway. They've done that several years in a row now. That's always a mess. It's actually a large enough stretch if you, they go from Home Depot to Towpath Road. But there's also, and my wife and I drive around and spot all these areas. Sort of the other part of the road, behind the shopping center. Almost where SOS, the SOS.
Okay, yep.
So there's I think there's a bus stop there or something.
Yep.
So there's a lot of cars there.
In the cemetery.
Yeah,
There.
cemetery, if somebody has that, I'm still recruiting group, so I'm hoping somebody. You remember? Kathy Bertucci, you remember that name? She was a woman who came to 2 or 3 DACC meetings. I remember she came to talk to us about water and everything. Anyway, she wants to clean with people around the old firehouse. I assume she said the Janesville pantry. And I assume she means the food pantry, which is in the old firehouse in James. And then I got a contact today. Okra sent me a guy's named Steve Bramble. I don't know the name, but he has a small environmental group that wants to clean. They wanted to know where they should clean. And I told Eric, if he has adults, and I would like him to go out to Erie Boulevard, from the Marshall's driveway, to Bridge Street. That's really nasty every year. There in years they've piled literally over a ton of junk. So that's what I've got so far. In the meantime, I sent an email to Dave Knapp, our county legislator for a lot of us, who I know personally. He helped me out with this a few years ago, and we need help again. Rock Cut Road is disgusting from one end to the other. Not so much into it. But there's a Janesville Facebook page, and I always send out things specifically to Janesville people. We need help, and somebody said, what about Rock Cut Road? And I said, I'll contact the county legislature because that's who needs it. So I did send them to him because, again, if you started right now, you go down Rock Cut Road, you're embarrassed by how filthy it is. There's, you could look at,
It's bad from Seneca Turnpike to Okra.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And a lot of it are the trucks, the haulers, the commercial haulers or the small guys that haul stuff. And I have said for years, I said to Dave, I said to Ryan McMahon, Covanta, which runs the incinerator, is a multi-million-dollar international corporation. Why don't they send a crew out once a month in the good weather and pick up the stuff? Or if not that, then have an Okra that runs the transfer station immediately across the street. I don't know how many staff members they have. Occasionally you would see 1 or 2 guys out there on a hot day with a bag, and they pick up a couple pieces of paper. But this needs industrial cleaning. I've never seen anything. So it's technically the town of Tunnels.
What is the town of Onondaga?
It starts in the city, but right in front of the incinerator in Okra, it's Onondaga, town of Onondaga. And a little bit further east, it's welcome to DeWitt. So there is some garbage on the DeWitt side, not as much, and there is, and I've talked to Rocco about this, there is a pile of tires that looks like somebody built a barrier out of them. They must have been there for 20 years and they're still there. And talk about environmental hazards. That's what it's like.
And then who was the company on Deer Road?
He didn't give me a company. He said it's a small environmental group. They're
Okay, so that's the Steve Ramble.
Steve Bramble. And again, I don't know where Deer Road is. You said it's out
North side of town.
and again, I could find where it is and take a ride out and see how bad it is, but I would. If he's offering to clean where we want, then I'm gonna try to get him to do Erie Boulevard.
Yeah.
In the meantime, people in Janesville are saying to me, what about the high school? And I said, I have the same question because I've been nagging them for years. And I have almost no success getting anybody. The exception for the last 2 years is the boys varsity tennis team comes out with their coaches who basically demand. I don't know, that's probably 10 guys maybe, that they get out and I have them go and do Woodchuck Hill Road. From Janesville Road up to Maple Drive, which is the way to the high school. But there's a new principal at JD, and I'm gonna try to get in. Maybe this week, maybe next week, and see if I had literally people, high school government teachers tell me, no, it's not an appropriate activity. And since I used to teach high school government, I could say, actually it is, but it's your class, not mine. I can't tell them what to do. So, but now I think that person who said no is retired. I'm gonna try again with the high school. Also, we have an in with the principal at ESM High School is Michael Jr. So, and I'm gonna see, if they can up at East Syracuse, there are parts of East Syracuse that are good. The Bridge Street is nasty, especially in front of BJ's and Walmart, that area.
Technically the village.
It is the village.
Have any of the disability service agencies ever gotten involved, like advocates, for example?
You know, it's funny, the one time we ever had success at the high school was a very high functioning autistic kid that used to do, he lived in James. And he was around the corner from Gordon and Alani. He used to do morning announcements. And he, when we were at this time of year, would announce to everybody there was a cleanup. And that worked a little bit, and then he graduated. So that was the end of that.
Well, it's just because advocates, there's like several hundred adult individuals running around with their mentors, and they look for stuff to fill their time with.
Yeah, I did have an individual kid who he knew people in Janesville, and he.
Yeah, both my kids have mentors that services through advocates, and they have, I think they hire close to 1,000. People in the county to mentor various people with disabilities, and they're always, there's a community have. So they're looking for stuff to do.
Okay.
More during the week, so, but like, I could totally see them doing,
Well, it
handing
just,
out little, they like to make groups, they like to find activities.
if you have a person that can contact me.
Yeah, I could reach out to Justin and.
Yeah, and the other thing is that it's not written in stone that people have to clean on that Saturday morning.
Yeah, it could be like Friday.
The Friday or anytime during the week or the following week. The only catch is that on Saturday, the highway guys here will go out in trucks and pick everything up.
Yeah, but before Saturday.
But if we know that we have groups going out on a different time, if I know when they leave the bags, I'll call
Yeah.
Linda over at Highway.
They can come by.
And they'll send out, they have to put the green ochre stickers on so that the town doesn't get charged to get the stuff. The other thing is, Ann and Dave and me, Eric come here that Saturday morning every year and give out all the stuff. And I do it with my wife at Robbie's. I would love to get other participation from people from DACC.
What time does it start?
The official time is 9 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll be at actually, I don't know whether it was last year or the year before, my wife and I got to Robbie's at 8:30 and we couldn't get in the parking lot. There were so many parents with kids. Literally, it was that. But that was the year I was hobbled because I couldn't clean myself.
And it was manageable here last year because the weather was awful. I don't know how it would be like.
Yeah,
I don't mind running the pavilion one, handing out bags and stuff from there.
And that's really all you're doing is giving out the supplies, and if somebody says, where should we go?
And you have the paper and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of sign them up for an area.
And then, you know, maybe, I mean, hopefully, they will return when you're done and give you back.
Right.
The vests.
The tongs and.
Yeah, times, I mean, we have some times, but they're like gold, they really are, I don't give them out unless somebody asks for them, because there aren't that many. I have some for, you know, Jenny, so it was. Angela, is the Clark Reservation activities in the afternoon, isn't it, on that Saturday?
Yes,
What time?
I believe it's 2:00.
So there probably isn't gonna be anybody that wants to go to both things. What do you
No,
think?
I doubt it.
Yeah. If you could pitch it, anybody who's interested, they can contact me, because one of the areas that needs attention, as always, is Seneca Turnpike, especially across the street from Clark Reservation and then heading west to Barker Hill Road. You know, the other thing I contacted Dave Knapp about is that group, and I can't remember the official name, but it works with John Tomino, who works with all of the homeless people that he picks up on.
In my father's kitchen.
Yeah, that's his, but there's an official name for the group that they organize that goes out and cleans.
Yeah.
And I think it's the county exec's office that,
They kind of
Organizes
employ
the whole
them,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
For like a day or something.
and so that's why I thought they'd have to do it. And last year they did, they came out, it wasn't on our day, but it was the following week. And they picked up specifically in Jamesville, that section of 173. And, you know, I, again, from the beginning said that the issue there is that all the haulers from the east, south, southeastern, I guess, quadrant of the county are driving down that road to get to the incinerator. And stuff is falling off their trucks. Or in Jamesville, our garbage day is Friday, and it's 50-mile-an-hour winds every single time it's Friday. And I can't convince people to put something heavy on top of their recycling. Anyway, that's sort of where we are. We could use more help. If you know anybody who's interested, Jason, in a week or two, I might talk to about getting, or whatever.
Everybody talks to you tonight after the meeting.
That's fine. Yeah, I did that, and that helps a lot. I really do get people to come to, well, I really work. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I inherited it in Jamesville from Vicky Baker and Marco Lowe. And then when I came here first to DACC, it was because I had started to do it in the fall. But, you know, I said, you know what, there's not garbage just once a year. And I did it for several years, and then I talked to Gordon and said, can I come to a DACC meeting and pitch this idea for the fall? He invited me, and I've never left. And so I run the whole thing, and he gave up on the fall because nobody was coming. It was impossible. So, but anyway,
Yeah, I'll come. Help Billy and
Yeah,
and stuff. So.
and again, I'm looking for somebody who would like to, you know, at some point take this over. Half of the materials are in the closet here, the other half are in my garage. Anyway. So Sarah, if you can, you know,
I'll check and see.
if anybody wants to do it, I mean, we say 9 to 12.
Yeah.
I can't remember anybody that does 3 hours, because it's harder than you think.
Yeah,
Walking up and down the street and bending and, you know, carrying bags of junk.
yeah,
And there's a lot of tires I've seen on the road this year, a lot of. You know, I mean, there are years where somebody's pulled over and dumped 30 or 40 tires. I haven't seen that this year, but I have seen 3 or 4 tires here and there. And again, Rockeye Road, it's all over. Fisher Road doesn't seem to be too bad. That used to be, that's the back road into the
landfill.
to the landfill, which is now also where the solar array is. That used to be a favorite dumping spot. The other dumping spot used to be the bottom of Old Stonehouse Road. Until we got the county to put a barrier across. And it was Brian Sahan and somebody went down there the one year. Picked up. I think Rocco said 3 or 4 tons. So they had to send a payload to pick it all up. It was so much.
It's amazing if stuff is not disposed of and it's like a neon sign saying, so
Don't know
no,
more stuff, yeah.
leave it.
This is a good spot. Do anybody remember Alice's? This is dating me. Does anybody remember Alice's restaurant?
So,
The song?
Oh, yeah.
And they got in trouble for littering. They said they better have one big pile than, a couple of little ones. So, but that was the basis of that. And that's just what people think. They see there's junk here, I'll just put mine on top of the other one. So, all right, anyway, I will get out myself on North Street with Jamesville the week before the 26th. I pick 2 or 3 days and I go one direction one day and then turn around and go the other direction the other day. And that in itself is a lot of junk. So, anybody wants to help out, give them my contact. They can call me, they can email me, it doesn't matter. Okay, cool. All right, thanks. You're up with us. And you kind of gave basically the printout here.
Yeah.
I talked to Ed Michaelenko. He just had questions. He likes the whole idea. So the thought again is possibly the 31st of May.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah, I would say we.
I mean,
would
not
start-
early.
Yeah, I would say start around like 10 at the early.
That's 10 to 10:30. And you would like to do a presentation to start?
Yeah,
Or-
doing a presentation to start to just talk about ticks and like protecting yourself from ticks. And then like go outside to do some dragging and just like talk about like the stuff that I talk about in the presentation.
How much time would you need inside? Trying to think.
I mean, so like. I have like a standard presentation, I can give it in 15 minutes, if there's a lot of questions, it'll take 45 sometimes, I would say like. If we have like, do like 20 minutes to half an hour for like the presentation, I can go through the important material and like. I usually take questions when I'm doing it, but like if it's a larger group, then I hold it for the end or while we're outside. But I'd say 20 to 30 minutes for the presentation and then we can go outside after that.
Okay. And you would have, it would be an audio visual thing, you have.
Yeah, I have a PowerPoint that I give with pictures and some videos.
just so depending on the amount of people that show up.
I'm thinking in the courtroom, because also there's a big screen, a huge screen.
Yeah, I didn't see like availability.
Well, probably if we do it now, I just contact Angela.
Right.
I believe
Saturday.
Saturday morning. I mean, it's Memorial Day weekend, or no, that's the weekend before.
That's a good question.
I'm trying to think if there's any conflict already.
Memorial Day is the previous weekend.
All right, so it shouldn't be. You have the equipment to do the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I have a projector and a computer that I can bring. If you have the screen, I can.
We have the screen,
I have the. equipment.
So yes, there actually is a computer down there. It's kind of similar setup as this.
Oh, sure.
So you can bring up.
Either way, like, I mean, I have it in my pocket right now, so like I have it on a flash drive, or I can bring my own equipment in, whichever is easier.
Flash drive should be fine.
Okay. And if you're gonna need an extension cord, or where's the help? Just on the sidewalk.
As far as power,
Yeah.
well, the TV is
Like your
a
remote?
computer, yeah.
Okay,
Yep. So.
that would work.
Well, when we had the relief thing downstairs, Dave had a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And we just put it, actually just joined the Zoom meeting like this,
Okay,
shared it on our screen.
yeah, when we did it
You know,
in,
the easiest thing.
2020, the technology was there, we had the screen.
Yeah.
Whatever, and people brought stuff. And I don't remember exactly, we hooked up. What I'm thinking is, what's a comfortable group for you to manage outside?
So, by that time, like, I will have an intern with me.
Okay,
So like, I would say if there's even, like, I assume Eric, so someone else would have to be here for access to the building. Like, if I just had
yeah,
one or two people from DAC, that's easy to accommodate like 30 people.
yeah,
In that range, and I was gonna ask if you wanted to, our office does events all the time, so we have platforms that we use signups. You talked about, sharing this to the town. I can set up a sign up link so that we can also have an idea of the number of people that are might be coming.
Yeah, if it's not like too much administrative work.
No, that's like something that we do out of our office for, like, Leanna does it for so many of her events and stuff, like,
Okay.
that's.
To give us like a
problem.
ballpark idea.
Yeah, and that's like we can, it's not necessarily explicit that you have to sign up if you're coming, but like, it gives us an idea of how many people and what to
Yeah.
need in terms of accommodating everyone.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I think it'd be helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, I can get that set up this week to share with, however y'all are gonna share it and disperse it into the town.
And if you wanna put something like that up on the,
Yeah,
I don't do with the website that much, honestly.
We could advertise it and also do the same thing, like set the class to get a rough. estimate.
So yeah, if you guys have the ability to. do
Yeah,
that
we can make
easily,
it like a course or whatever, so.
So maybe try that first, and then if you have trouble or whatever, then we'll do the other.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
But
yeah,
if the town has a system.
yeah, I would say, I wasn't sure if like the town had a
I don't know
system
what-
that it uses, so yeah, it's like,
Yeah, for our rec programs, we have.
oh, great, okay, yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah, like, I just like, because we've talked about not having any idea what the like. Interest and attendance might be, that's just helpful for like, if we get like 50 people to sign up. Even if only 40 of them show up, having another person from DAC there to just. If we get higher numbers, we know we need another set of hands.
Corral
Yeah.
people.
I mean, I will try to be there. As well, and we might have to split, into smaller groups. And,
Yeah, that's.
when you go
what-
outside.
Yeah,
And, again, if there are kids, it's easier.
oh, certainly, yeah, I mean, I like I also, kids aren't a problem, I like talked to summer camps about ticks and stuff, so like I can vary how I talk and like direct it to whatever the audience is, yeah, so that's certainly no problem, and it's more important for the kids to know sometimes than it is even
Well,
for the
yeah.
adults with
Yeah, I talked about the Earth Day every year with the lacrosse kids. I tell the coaches, make sure they're wearing pants and socks, and there are always 4 or 5 kids that show up in Crocs and shorts. If you get bit by a tick, you're going to be sorry, but, so we'll manage that.
Okay.
And then,
We wanna do a rain date, set up a rain date, right? So,
I mean, like, I would suggest it, but like, we can also like. Ticks are really hard to find sometimes.
So it's not
no matter what the weather
guaranteed
is.
even-
So like, we can, I suggested a rain date, but we can do the presentation. We can always demonstrate, and like, people can do a drag looking for ticks, but. If we've had a significant amount of rain on Friday, or like, there's so many variables that like, even when you're looking for them, you're not always gonna find them.
Yeah.
So, I can always like alter the outside part a little bit. If I think we're not gonna find ticks, then I can like delve more into like the biology and like what people should think about for ticks when they're out
Yeah.
in the environment, rather than just like doing tick strikes trying to find it. That like. With an event like this, it's hard to like set a rain date and like have like people commit to like, oh yeah, maybe this day, oh well, we're moving to another time. So, like,
Okay,
if we
so long
wanted
as
to-
you have something that they could still.
Yeah, it's something that like, I know I have it on that, but like, I've thought about it
Yeah, I was
like,
thinking
this
about it too.
week. Because like, it's hard with like, trying to plan a larger event like this to do that, so. Yeah, I can pivot, if I think we're not gonna find any ticks.
And like you said, it's not even like, there's no guarantee at
Yeah,
all. It's kind of
no, I've
day to
gone out
day.
looking for ticks in places that I knew ticks are and not found any. There's never a guarantee that you're going to find them, so, yeah, like, I'm anticipating that for the best weather conditions possible, that we just might not find it, so,
Yeah.
that just is what it is.
So if it's too wet or too hot and dry, do they start to?
Yeah, I mean, like, the big thing is though, like, in like that May, early June is the moisture, like, if we have a wet spring, it like sets them back, like. Typically, like, the heat isn't really a problem until you get into July.
Yeah, so,
Unless we just have no rain this spring, then that would be the concern, but typically it's more the wetness that time of year, so. Yeah, like, we'll plan for like I said, like around half an hour for the presentation, talking, questions and stuff, and then. We'll move outside either to do drags or to just move around, to talk about. Areas, ticks you might find in the park here and how to apply that at your home or at Green Lakes or anything like that, so. Sounds good.
Angela, do you think? Is there anything that we could put in your next newsletter that would announce this event in case people are interested?
The next newsletter comes out in May. I don't know exactly when, sometime in May. If the timing works, sure, I would be happy to put that in.
Yeah, because I mean, geez, Clark Reservation is. I mean, if Green Lakes is number one, well, sorry, Clark Reservation is gonna be number two.
Well, it's a funny thing. We did do a tick drag a few years ago and did not find one tick, which to me was very surprising. But sure, we could do that.
All right, let's see, okay,
Tell me the
And then just
details.
as-
if you would.
we get close as we.
Yeah, I'll email you the details on,
Okay.
said stuff.
At some point, early May, maybe we can get you, because the Eagle Bulletin is. They're reliable.
Yeah, I mean, usually we have like our internal comms that like I can like set up like the event information, and I can put it on our website as well. So like whatever form I have of that, like I can share with you, Eric, for like that, but I'm happy to talk with you about whatever you'd like to put into the Eagle.
Great. Anything else on that topic? We'll talk about it more at the May meeting.
Sure.
The May, or the number one topic in May, and I just want to mention this briefly, it is going to be to focus on that possibility of developing a fire code for the town. I did the other day after I talked to you, Eric, and I saw you. I talked to Ed for about half an hour, and one of the things I brought up was this, and he doesn't understand why our codes people can't enforce the state rules right now. And Angela Eppolito said the same thing, there's a statewide building code. It tells you when you can burn and when you can burn.
That's kind of what Derek was saying, he didn't really want to have our own one for the town when there's already one for the
Except
state.
that when I asked him, he didn't know how to
As
enforce.
far as just enforcing.
So that's why, and that's what I said to Ed. I said, it's a matter of getting it. In print someplace so that the codes guys or town policemen could stop at a, person's house and say, you can't do this. And I, again, offer the suggestion to Ed that we could set up a system where the first time somebody does something, you give them a notice.
Yeah.
And the second time, you give them a fine. And he thinks that'll, it all sounded good to him. So, again, Max thinks we can get the fire chief from DeWitt there. Have a contact into Matt Natoli, the town board's attorney. Again, I sent an invitation to this meeting to all the town board people, because I wanted them to hear your ideas. But I'm gonna do it again and really remind him that this is gonna be on them at some point. If we come up with something and we go to the town board, it would be nice if they know what we're talking about in advance. So anyway, it's coming to be the main meeting.
So the Jason Green, is it?
Jason Green.
He's planning on attending.
Well, that's what Max says.
Okay.
I'll remind him again, I can contact the guy directly, but Max seems to have the contact.
Let's see.
And as I said, my nutty neighbor, he's been burning every damn day. There is a statewide burn ban in effect. It doesn't matter to him.
And you said that, because are there DEC police down the road in the state?
Well, there's
park, or
state park
there's state
police,
park police, okay.
But the DEC does have a DACC there. And the problem is Clark Reservation, they don't know their own boundaries. They don't know the borders of the state park property. Because when we say to them, you understand he's like a foot from where your woods start. And if it's dry, I mean, look what happened a couple of weeks ago in the city over there.
On the west side.
On the west side, and that came close to getting up into Burnett Park.
Yeah.
And you gotta release the tigers so they don't get. Because that's where the tigers are, going down that hill. But, so it doesn't take much. And again, I took that, I said, if he starts Park Reservation on fire, it's gone to 41. It's gone the whole way. So, and I said, again, to Ed, this, I don't wanna bring, my family's issue with a neighbor to DACC, but if I'm an example, I can't get anybody at the town to do something about this because they don't know what they should do. And we need to have something in writing, and then, so anybody has a problem with this, because there are regulations, and you're supposed to follow them. As they say, he cut his grass today.
And I don't know if it would have to be you providing like enough proof for the codes to write a violation, like based on.
We have a trail
photos
camera that you can
like-
see. There was a day where all of a sudden, there's no fire, and the next snapshot, it's not a video. It's, click, but there's nothing there but a tiny pile of wood. And the next one, there's a flaring, booming fire, which means he's using gasoline to start it, which is also illegal. No hose.
And you'd think maybe there would be like a buffer around the state park, like.
There's nothing.
Little heightened restrictions or something, but clearly the restrictions.
30 years ago, I walked in, because we have a lot of land, we have 2 acres, and some of it is fenced, but some of it isn't. So I went out and a tree in the back part of ours, they had a no trespassing from the state. So I went over to the headquarters, which is fine, down. I said, you understand, you put that sign in my backyard, we don't really know where the boundary is going. So I took it down and handed him. So anyway, that's kind of attraction, we'll see what happens. I showed you where he shot out the mill.
Yes, you did.
With a Peloton. After I talked to you,
Well, you told me about it.
I went downstairs to the plant, and they said, you want us to write a report? I cannot prove that the man there, I know, did not see him, but the fact that he has 2 Pelotons and there is a hole in one side of my mailbox that comes out the other side. That's, I'd say he was doing target practice. So. All right, guys, I'm all set. Anybody have anything else? Angela, anything from Clark Reservation that we should know about besides your event on, your Earth Day event?
No, just the usual. I Love My Park is the week, I Love My Park Day, the week after that, May 3rd, Saturday, 10 to 12. That's about it.
Anybody have anything else? Anything from Brett we should know about?
Well, now that it's still gonna be August 16th, and we're starting now the process of like looking for vendors. So if you guys know anyone who's interested, have them get in contact with me, not this paper here, because I know you said DACC wanted to do a booth, right?
We did, and then Tanya, who's our sustainability expert, would really like to do some more sustainability stuff, so we're gonna get her on. Coming up with some creative things. Cool.
Yeah, and we're also gonna hopefully have some kayak rentals to start off Canal Day. It's gonna be starting at 11 AM with a walk. And then most of the stuff will be starting around noon and it'll still be ending with the music and fireworks.
Good.
And another date is June 14th at Cedar Bay is the Canal Museum over in Chittenden. They're doing annual boat float.
June 14th.
Correct, and yeah, we're the kickoff location at 8 AM. It's roughly 9 miles down there, so. You can go on to the Chittenden Canal Museum site to like register for more information.
So it's good they're starting earlier in the day.
Yeah,
Back in August.
yeah, tell.
Yes, yeah.
Don't tell this.
And they've been listened to,
Don't
so
put the musicians way over in the pavilion, which is what I did last year in Barry.
we got the stage wagon from downtown, so it'll be a lot.
That was, as I told you, it was embarrassing, that he's a famous local guy. And nobody, my wife and I came over and we need 4 or 5 people over. And
The band is Janesville Road, I believe,
I don't know.
so.
I mean, the guy, Joe Whiting is one of the best known guys around. And
Anybody else?
yeah, thank you everybody for coming. See you on, I believe it's the 7th of May. And
7th of May.
and we'll see you then. And we'll see what else there is coming between now and then. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Good.
Hi, Gordon.
Chase.